Dopo Poet is just a gun? I'm down. Why not? Homie's like,
That's not how I took that, but
oh, what was it?
well, I mean, he made a gun, but I thought it was like it's like a representation that he can write like anything in that book and then pull it off the
Oh,
page. And he happened to be like Topo Poet wire gun this time, and so he pulled a wire
oh.
gun out to disarm the guy.
I just thought his power was a gun. I was like,
Which
hell yeah,
like
bro,
the
fuck it. Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules the Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and then we come back here and talk about it. And today is the first time we're going to be talking about Bungo Stray Dogs, an anime requested by you, and we have so many other anime to get through. Some of them I haven't added on there just yet, but there's a lot of anime here to choose from, a lot for us to get through. And if you want to get an anime into this chest for us to pick out, it would be a $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch. Thank you so much to everybody that sent in some bits and stuff last week. We appreciate it. I'll get those names up there hopefully next time. But today, Bungo Stray Dogs, not our pick. I forgot whose pick it was. Maybe Matt will tell me. But I don't go on this anime journey
I didn't have
alone.
it written down.
Oh, okay. Might have been CZ. I'm not too sure who
This
requested
feels
it.
like a CZ pick,
It does.
overwhelmingly up and down.
It does give CZ vibes. Shout out to CZ, who is now a father, which is very cool. I don't go on these anime journeys alone. I go with my co-host Matt Galley. Matt, how are you doing this week?
Yeah, doing really good. Ready for a new anime, a new chance to be introduced to a new world, new characters, new lessons, new things. And this one definitely feels fresh, yet like I said, it feels like it's kind of hitting the kind of classic 12 episode anime
Sure.
hero's journey arc structure where
Mhm.
we have now at the end of these 4 episodes gotten a good idea, I think, for what the show's kind of a pattern is going to be for the rest of the series. And I'm totally cool with it. I'm ready to see what it has to offer. It starts to roll up its sleeves a
Starts to
little
pick
bit, show
up.
some stuff off, so it's got promise, and I'm excited to see and hear what you think about it, because yeah, I definitely have a lot of thoughts so far.
And we're going to be talking about episode 1 through 4 of Bungo Stray Dogs. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. Come back to the podcast, watch on Spotify or something like that. But Bungo Stray Dogs, season 1, episode 1, Fortune is unpredictable and mutable. What happens in episode 1?
We are introduced to Atsushi, a down on their luck orphan who has recently been kicked out of their orphanage. Atsushi pulls someone out of a river, Dazai. Dazai invites Atsushi to be treated to a meal by Kunikita, his coworker. Atsushi asks what they do for work, finding out that they work for the renowned Armed Detective Agency, a place that employs individuals with special powers. They reveal that they are currently looking for a tiger, and Atsushi freaks out, claiming that the tiger is after him. Dazai bribes Atsushi into being bait for them. However, it turns out that Atsushi is the tiger in question, changing forms under the light of the full moon. Dazai uses his power that disengages the special powers of any individual he touches, then going to invite Atsushi to join the detective agency.
Bro, he was the Bungo Stray Dog the
He was
whole
the
time.
Bungo Stray Dog the whole time.
So we get Atsushi, who is just down on his luck. He's gonna die of starvation, kicked out of an orphanage. Insane. First thing I noticed, cool color eyes. Really like Atsushi's eyes. When he was trying to figure out what he can do to get money for food, he meets Dazai, who is trying to kill him. This is sort of the running theme here for Dazai. And it's played for jokes, I suppose. Nobody really takes him seriously because he's like, he's reading a book about suicide in one of the books that he's like looking at, and he
I
talks
already
about
know how
it.
this story ends. A good book's always good.
It's
This
like
book about suicide.
it's it's played for jokes, and that's funny, I suppose. He wishes, or
Comedy
he
is all subjective at
sure,
the end of
and
the day.
maybe that's just an infatuation that he has about death. What what do you think this is? Is this just like a quirk to like kind of pin on him that he's just a little quirky and he's a little odd? Or do you think there's going to be something else that comes
Yeah,
out of it?
it's really hard to, I mean, dial in, but I feel like, the show kind of runs with this idea. Each of the characters has like this certain centrism about them, and we find out later on that yeah, some of them definitely have more uh expressive ones than others, and Dazai just happens to be the one who casually just I guess fantasizes about, just pushing that eternal power off. uh don't know really
Yeah.
how else to put it with him,
I
because
was
yeah, he handles it very casually, even going to the degree of saying like he doesn't enjoy suffering. It's
he
just
wants to die real quick.
of it all being over or something along those lines. So it's hard to nail him down for sure, but he is just like he takes on the pseudo um mentor role in this
Yeah.
journey that we're about to go on. So as a mentor figure, it's it sends some mixed signals for sure.
Definitely. I was thinking more on like a grand scale and hoping that this is going to get to something or mean something at all. Maybe there's more to his power than he said, or maybe he has another power as well, or maybe he has died in the past or something. I'm like looking for the little things because like they don't give us a whole lot. It is very slowly paced, which is fine. I just got to settle into it. In the first episode, I was like, okay, we're just kind of
Yep.
going with the flow. We're
Yeah.
going with the flow here, and I'm like, okay, this is the pace of the anime. We're switching over to a completely new show, and it's like, okay, let me slow my roll a little bit,
Yeah,
and let's
that
go with
is,
you
yeah.
guys.
This one's a lot slower paced. It's a lot more about the dialogue and the interactions that come from the characters.
Hmm.
Like the comedy is delivered mostly through the dialogue. It's not super slapstick, but there is a little bit of, that like the I'm joking, and then the pen breaks like
Hmm.
that. That's gonna we see it twice in these episodes, so we know we're gonna see it again. Rule of threes.
Yeah, rule of three. Which is
But
classic anime slapstick sort of,
exactly.
where they have the big faces, the big exaggerated faces. Fucking I if I have to see Atsushi's face just fucking in the frame one more time with his eyes going this
Fisheye
way,
lens
the fish
right over his head, man.
yeah,
That killed me.
that's
But yeah,
it's
so
just wild shots.
we get we get Atsushi, Dazai, and Kunikita, and I feel like they all offer like a a good dynamic with just the three of them before we even get the other agents introduced, to kind of like play off of with Dazai's kind of more cooled, laid back persona, and then like you said, Kunikita kind of comes in and is the stiff, like over the top, very much about like being punctual and respectful, so much to the point that when he's scolding other people about doing those things, he is coming off exactly how he doesn't want to.
Yeah,
So
it's great. I like Kunikita,
we get
a lot actually.
we quickly get a cast of these three characters, and the entire episode is really just about like what dialogue can come out of these characters interacting and setting up the world, and mostly Atsushi as a character, because Dazai and Kunikita are more left to their personas than getting actual characterization until a little bit later.
Sure, and we've had anime in the past where it is just some still shots sometimes and then a lot of dialogue, and we're just kind of vibing, and it's like, okay, this is cool. But I actually really like when they talk, when they're talking about what's going on and about them. The camera shots are interesting enough, their movements and sort of that silliness helps the time go by as they're kind of exposing about they're private investigators. We have an armed detective agency. The members all have supernatural powers, and we are looking for a man-eating tiger. And then we get the premise going forward. Atsushi knew about this tiger. It's been chasing him, shows up wherever Atsushi goes. And really, they're really continuously throughout this whole thing driving home the fact that the orphanage cast out Atsushi. This is a big sort of deal for him and his character and the character that they're portraying for him. and it just continues to build even to episode 4 where they have the found family sort of thing. um
I
hello
love Dazai in the chat.
hello, welcome to the stream. Do you like this character? Let us know. Do you like this boy? I cannot tell. Great. Hello, welcome to the show. Appreciate it. We're talking about episode 1 first. We find out Dazai does seem really cool in this moment because he's there chilling. They're at the stakeout, sort of, looking for the tiger. And Atsushi is the one that sort of turns into the tiger with the moonlight, and Dazai just instantly, super cool characterization, uses his ability no longer human, and it renders any other ability null with a touch. So now we have one Atsushi who is the tiger, who doesn't know he's the tiger. Two, we have Dazai with this kind of just nullification of anybody else's power, which is his power. How do you feel about the power setup so far? Because
Yeah.
we only
I
see
feel
two
like
right
it's
now.
well done. I feel like it's well done. We get the idea that because we also then immediately get all these other characters that I didn't write their
I
names
got them
down
all
because they kind
down.
of got thrown out there, and it's
Mhm,
just more of the idea that there's more to come. But the all the other characters show up, and the names of all their abilities draw a lot of intrigue, and with
mhm,
the idea that we have Dazai, somebody who has this power, who he seems to be able to use it at will. But then we also have the idea that Atsushi is somebody that would have powers, but he cannot use them at will. It sets up a very interesting dynamic immediately. Something akin to the beast inside has yields the greatest power, but can you control it? That we've
mhm,
seen in so much shown in media, but now we're getting it in a show that seems like it more wants to explore the characters, and they're kind of like at least Atsushi's intrinsic struggle, and the whole idea of him getting cast out initially, because it's something that continues, like you said, to hold weight as we move forward. This idea that people called him worthless, and that he would be better off dying in a ditch somewhere, and what that has now done to his mental state, and trying to find a place in this world where he feels like he has none. And then
mhm.
all of a sudden, we're getting this eclectic cast of characters that are just all have their own quirks and goofs, and it's exactly the type of place that somebody like him needs to call home.
Just come in and hang out with us. This fucking weird group of armed
Even
detective
though
agency.
everyone else seems to reject the idea initially, Dazai seems to, for some reason or another, he's like, "This is the guy that we want. This is the
That's
guy that
why
we
I
need."
think it's something else. Like, is Dazai just this so lackadaisical and just is this person, or does he know something more? Because he does have some secrets that we are going to talk about in the future. But we have Yosano Akiku, Kiko with Thou Shalt Not Die, Otogawa Rampo with Ultra Destruction, Miyazawa Kenji with Be Not Defeated by the Rain. Like, these are like really kind of like poetic names for their abilities, and I really appreciate it.
Draws a lot of intrigue. Yeah.
It's really interesting. Kunikita Dopo, who is the Dopo poet, Daze Osamu, who is no longer human, and then Atsushi, which they name Beast Between the Moonlight. So that sort of wraps up the first episode. Then we get the main intro at the end.
Yes, we got the
It
intro at the end and the tail of the episode.
has
It's
very cool
interesting.
character scenes, shows some possible villains. Pretty cool song. What did you think of that? Their intro.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting, not dynamic. It's very interesting visually, and it's just kind of got a way of it's got a way of setting up the potential, who
Mhm.
seems to be like they're going to be the villains in the future, but at the same time, it like doesn't seem to be spoiling any events that I could like really get my
No,
like, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like just showcasing actual things that happen in the
here's the
series, but
final episode.
yeah. But I don't feel like it got to that degree yet.
Gemini
Or
said something
I feel like it did not
interesting.
get to that degree. Yeah.
Yeah, Gemini said something interesting on Twitch. Hello, Gemini. Welcome. They said the characters are, I think, named after writers and authors. Their powers are quotes from what that author's work, from what I've heard. That'll be interesting. I didn't do the research. Probably will now. That's kind of cool because they did seem a little proper, these
Mhm.
names. I love Dazai says this kind of random, but who's y'all's favorite character?
Kunikita so far,
Kunikita is pretty cool.
he's just all over the place.
I
He's
do
just
want to.
not stressed. That's me all the time.
Yeah,
I'm not
he's not
stressed.
stressed. No, episode 2 was really cool, and once we see Dopo Poet, I got some thoughts. But I would say Kunikita, yeah, Kunikita, probably my favorite so far after
So
watching
far.
4 episodes. Um, let's get into it. Episode 2, a certain kind of bomb or certain bomb. What happens in episode 2?
Atsushi is enjoying their new accommodations as Dazai calls upon them for assistance, only to be acting silly stuck in a steel drum. Dazai acknowledges that everyone with superpowers has something wrong with them, and Atsushi states that he wants to look for a job where he would be more suited. Dazai offers to show them somewhere that might work well, but that a test would be involved. And Kunikita shows up explaining that an emergency is taking place at the office. Dazai convinces Atsushi into having to take charge of the situation, leading him to jump on top of what he thinks is a live bomb in an attempt to save others. The whole situation turning out to be the test mentioned before, as the president of the detective agency approves his admittance, and Atsushi, not seeming to have any reasonable reason to refuse, accepts.
Going into episode 2, and watching episode 2, I it felt like we already said, slower pace than a normal action anime. I didn't know what to expect really. Like you haven't seen anything about the show. I've only seen there's a bunch of manga about it. Every time I go to the store, I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't even know what a Bungo Stray Dog is. Um but like going into episode 2, I felt more of like just uh slice of life vibes. Like I think I have to change the way that I'm thinking about the brain, my brain specifically, and put it to be like, no, this is a slice of life with some action. Because me at the beginning watching episode 1, I was like, this is okay. This is fine. I do want to see what's going on with this show. But after seeing the tiger and seeing the super change, I was like, oh boy, hey, crazy action is coming or whatever. And I was like prepared for some insane action. And then we go to episode 2 and they're just still kind of talking and he's going with about his day. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
the second they start walking down the street, and you see it's just the one picture of the street. Everybody is like else is the audience, the background, I should say, background characters. They're not animated. They don't even have faces drawn.
Yeah.
They're just in still shots. And the immediate moment that I realize we've been walking down the street for a solid 3 minutes, that's when I realize, this it's going to be a talkie. It's going to be a it's going to be a slice of life. There's going to be walking, talking, this character's face shot, this character's reaction shot. It's going to be a lot of that, but it doesn't mean it's not interesting, because I
No.
find the dialogue to be intriguing. I
Mhm.
find this world to be interesting, and the way that it managed to and every episode it's kind of pulled a twist on whatever the show starts with setting up. So in the first episode we had the twist that, oh, we're after a tiger. Oh, I realized you were the tiger that like before already. So here it pulls a whole, I'm gonna help you get a different job. Oh no, there's a situation going on and he just happened to get thrown into it. Oh, the twist, it was all fabricated and that was the test and you passed with flying colors. And it
Yeah.
does it again with episode 3. Episode 4, um uh Not so much.
Yeah.
Episode 4
I
wavered a
mean,
little bit, but for the first 3 episodes being so strong, in my opinion, it was like it pulls it off really well with the twists that they pull.
yeah, and I definitely don't mean it to be like that it's bad. It's just that I have just inherent expectation. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. Anytime you go into an anime and you have like an expectation about how the anime is going to turn out, I started having to switch in episode 2 where I'm like, "Oh, okay, like I got to slow down and chill and be on their pace because I'm wanting and looking for I saw action at the end. Where's the action?" But like, no, this is a different kind of anime than what I was expecting after watching at the end of episode 1. And I just got to go along with these boys. They're being silly, they're being funny, they're being chill. They have some rapport between Dazai and Kunikita, and then just Atsushi is just along for the ride. And I really do like it. We get some information about the world a little bit too. Anyone, well, it's sort of what Dazai says, I think, where he says anyone gifted with powers has something wrong with them, and that's why they're just a crazy a group of people that are just doing some silly stuff. Find out that the agency takes on villains that the police have no chance against, and like you were saying, Dazai says that he'll help them get a job, but a bomber takes hostages in their offices, and something's going on. And I love that just the connection with Dazai and Kunikita when they're just okay, how are we gonna handle this? Rock, paper, scissors. And at first I thought it was like they do like when I thought it was still really a real bomber, I was like, oh shit, they do this a lot. Like they're not phased at all. And I was like, okay, here we
Yeah.
go. They're like, they seem silly at the front, but they get down to business. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go because they're just all right, let's do this, whatever. Like, okay, I'll take him out this time. And it's like, dang, dude, like that seemed cool.
Having the casual, like, just uh being casual about a situation that seems to have stakes that are so high.
Yeah,
When we feel like it should be up here and the tension should be ratcheted, but then they're just like acting like it's, all
just
right,
another
who's gonna go
Tuesday.
get coffee today? Like
Yeah, pretty much.
rock, paper, scissors. Yeah.
Atsuzi's trying to distract, and brother, Dopo Poet is just a gun. I'm down. Why not? Homie's like,
That's that's not how I took that, but
oh, what was it?
well, I mean, he made a gun, but I thought it was like it's like a representation that he can write like anything in that book and then pull it off the
Oh,
page. And he happened to be like Topo Poet wire gun this time, and so he pulled a
oh.
wire gun out to disarm the guy. Which
I just thought his power was a gun. I was like,
it's
hell yeah,
like the
bro, fuck
JoJo
it.
meme of the piece of paper right here up against his face, and the gun
Yeah,
just shows up.
yeah. I
It's
don't.
literally the meme.
The JoJo's meme. Just fucking. I thought it was a gun. All right. Well, we haven't seen him make anything
Anything
else.
else, yeah,
He's only made
exactly.
one
But
thing.
that's what I was assuming. And so like
Dang.
maybe he had to write some sort of poetry in
Okay.
Japanese in order to pull the gun out or something. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the rules.
Yeah, you
I'm
don't know,
just
man.
guessing.
It's a gun. It's a grapple gun, sort of.
I
Oops.
need a gun.
My ability is gun. The bomber gets they do some silliness. The bomber gets the bomb back, but Asushi or he gets the detonator back, and Atsushi covers up the bomb, ultimately saving him or trying to save everybody by getting blasted, but it turns out this was his test. And then we meet some other characters. So we get Tanizaki and his younger sister Naomi, I think.
Yes.
Tanazaki's a part of the agency. His ability is light snow. Um, him and his sister are kind of
They
weird. What's that about?
they
We gonna talk
exist.
about it?
They are characters that exist. I mean, yeah, it's pretty weird.
I mean, for what it's worth, I don't think that's his actual sister, but like,
No,
brother,
not
leave
at
me
all.
out of it. I don't care if y'all do that. Leave me out of it. I don't want that near me. You can do all that. That's fine. Free world. I don't care what you do. Leave
Because
it
yeah,
over there.
even Atsushi at one point directly acknowledges, he's like, there's zero relation in your faces.
Yeah, it's like y'all don't look nothing alike.
Yeah. So they exist. They're kind of weird, but it's not the main focus,
No,
unlike other shows that we've watched where that gets weirdly drawn into being arguably the main focus of the show. So whatever, it's a throwaway. It's throwaway humor that lands or doesn't land. That's how I see it. And it's like there for 30 seconds of a 22-minute episode. So
sure.
who cares?
We get the president showing up, Fukuzawa Yukichi, who has the ability of all men are created equal. And this was a test, leaves it up to Dazai to choose if if Atsushi should be a part of the agency or not. And Dazai is like, well, let's fucking do it. You're a part of the crew. And we get a whole new family. So this two sets of episodes was interesting enough for me. This was fun. This was a little silly, a lot of slice of life, I think. And then we get to episode 3, which is kind of cool. Oh, I can see the people that type in your chats. Hello, Aura Boy. Hello,
Hello.
hello. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Because you're
Have
streaming
you
it too,
seen
right?
Bungo Stray Dogs?
Yeah. Have you seen Bungo Stray Dogs?
Who's a stray dog?
We are stray dogging right now. Not Bungo Raw Dog. It's a different show. Episode 3, Yokohama Gangster Paradise. Let's kick it up a notch. What happens in episode 3?
Dazai pulls Atsushi in on the fact that there's a bounty on guessing what he used to do before working at the agency. Atsushi, Tanizaki, and Naomi take on a request to investigate a disturbance happening at a client's building, and Kunikita warns Atsushi about Akutagawa, the leader of the port mafia. The client leads the detectives into a trap where Naomi takes a blast from Uzis, then giving Tanizaki a chance to turn the tables on them. Akutagawa shows up, however, and attempts to take Atsushi alive after wounding Tanizaki. Atsushi turns into his tiger form after being mortally wounded, giving Kutagawa a run for their money, but Dazai shows up and disarms the both of them, with Akutagawa revealing that Dazai used to work for the port mafia.
Ooh, buddy. This gets interesting. Aura Boy said that they have seen Bungo Stray Dogs. This is the first time we're talking about it, and first time we're watching it.
Is this supposed to be mandatory viewing?
I've seen, you know what's interesting? I've seen so many people talk about it, but I think, and people that do like Bungo Stray Dogs, can you tell me, without spoiling it, or type in the chat if you're here, why do you like the show? And my prediction is that they like the characters a whole lot, because I can see that. I can see where people are like obsessed with these boys, and they're just like, I love this little guy. I love this one. He's so silly or whatever. Like, I think the crux of you liking the show is you liking a particular character, because up until episode 3, I'm just like, this is a fun experience. This is cool, I suppose. I'm down for the ride. But up at, the first 4 episodes that we see, I'm not like super sold yet. It could get super intense. But like, my guess is that people really like the characters that come out of it, because they're spending a lot of time just being silly, just being themselves and doing little silly things.
Like like in this episode with Dazai like attempting to flirt with the client, and then Kunikita like kicks him into the other room, closes the door, and you
Yeah.
hear him like beating
The whole
Dazai.
time, the rest of the time that they're talking to the girl, he's just like, shh, carry on. It's like, girl, and I'm just like, that's an unnecessary scene, but it's so funny. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so okay with this.
It adds nothing to the story with Kunikita pulling him apart, but then we find out later that like Dazai flirting with her actually is crucial to the plot and how
Yeah.
the episode plays out. Which again, it's doing those like post reveal when we don't necessarily have all the information, something happens, and then it's like, oh, this is actually how this was able to happen. And it's it's interesting in the context that they do these within their own episodes. So each episode, in a way, feels self-contained so far, even
Hmm.
though they're all playing into a bigger story. It's like
Yeah.
every episode has an arc that it's like opening and closing in the same episode. And I really like that structure for what it's going for, which
Hmm.
is more of the character-sided approach.
And even before that, we have the whole scene where they're hanging out at the bar, kind of, or the cafe, sort of, and they're just talking about, well, Tanizaki and Naomi are doing some crazy things over there. At first, to start off the episode, I'm like, okay, man, what's happening here? But they also give the whole little storyline of where did Dazai work, but also we get Kunikita used to be a math teacher, and then we get Atsushi being just obsessed with trying to guess it. And that's a funny scene. This is the characterization of the characters hanging out, doing silly things together. So another thing that I have to like focus on is just being like, I'm here with the characters. I'm having a fun time. Am I having a good time? Is this funny? Is this chill? Rather than the world's ending and this huge arc. It's more like, no, we're gonna take the time to just be silly with these little guys. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I have to. I have to be here. Okay, sure, whatever. Um, like I was saying, that Atsushi is determined to win money, guessing Dazai's previous employer. They have a new job. So it's a stakeout. So we're gonna check out somebody who's a mafioso. We get the introduction of the Port Mafia. We get the introduction of Akutagawa is his name. Um, Textbook villain looking guy. He's got the dark hair. We don't know his vibe. But then we do get his vibe in this episode because he just unloads on the police. He
Yeah.
used this bomb sort of thing, um, and just blows them up. He uses his ability, Rashomon, and it's just insane. So he's just ruthless for the sake of being ruthless. I don't know his motives entirely just yet. LOL, hello, how are you? Welcome to the stream. We're talking about Bungo
Wait,
Stray
we can't.
Dogs.
We're talking.
We can't wait. There's no time to
No
waste.
time to wait. We only have an hour.
Higuchi is the girl that was the one that they took the job from, but gasp, she led them into a trap, and she's called Atugawa. I've got to say, this is where shit gets real for me.
Kinda, yeah. Like it feels
I
like the stakes jump in a instant for
I
sure.
was not expecting that. Hi guys, big fan from Canada. ONG go. Okay. The stakes. Okay, I don't know what I want because I was like going into the direction of, all right, chill little guys,
Yeah.
vibing in a little cafe. Here we are, fucking Akata. What's his
Wham.
name? First,
Akutagawa?
Akutagawa
Yeah.
fucking blows up the police station. I'm like, and they're bloody
Yeah.
police people on the floor. I'm like,
Well, it's like, yeah, he takes out the cops with his power first, and that he leaves his bag there, and then some random lady comes in there looking for help, and then it explodes, and it's just like, okay, this is
yeah,
just I feel like we could have done that scene with you just going in there, dropping off the bag with that lady already in there, and the place
no,
explodes, and it's the same effect, but
no.
I guess not.
He had to do it with his own hands. And then we get fucking Higuchi there, and she just fucking was like, I led you into a trap. And
Dual
I'm like,
Uzis.
wait, I'm like, wait, what? It gets so real. She just starts unloading on him, and somehow Naomi took all of the bullets. In I'm like, how did
Is
she?
Naomi supposedly doesn't even have supernatural powers.
She's just a normal girl.
She's just one of the what are they called? Like
Interns or
yeah, a clerk. She's a clerk at
she's a
the
clerk there.
yeah. That's it. But she just takes a full 2 clips from like
Just
extendo mag Uzis
at least 3 seconds of just
blasting.
and
And
she's like,
it and it cuts to her and she's just standing there and it looks like somebody just like took a sandpaper like
It
device and
should
just like
have.
shredded at her back with sandpaper, like no bullet holes, no
No.
entry or exit wounds. She just got a messed up back now.
And we find out later that she's fine, that she's gonna be fine. What what is happening? I was like, okay, sure. Let's stretch the imagination for this because she's like, I did it for you or
We're
whatever.
playing
And
by I don't even know what other universe does that rules.
I don't know, man, but it was just wild that she
Those
just did that.
super earth news Uzis, dude. Where were
Yeah.
the patch notes on the Uzi again? Let me see right here. Did we
Uzi,
change piercing damage to bludgeoning or something?
yeah,
It
there was
was
something.
it was
Something going
something.
on with those
And
bullets.
I thought we were just supposed to think that she died for sure.
I was okay with her dying
And
because she was.
Kunikita. And I thought that was like not Kunikita, I'm sorry, Tanizaki in anime universe. You're right. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
But I thought the show was kind of going for like, like a Grimgar twist. Like, okay, we have some like fun little characters here, they're not that great power wise, but they're here as part of the core group. Boom, dead. Weight thrown into the show immediately, and fourth episode we were going to have some sort of a complete turnaround in direction. That's not where it decided to go. I'm not saying it made me mad, but I'm just saying I think that's a concept that it definitely left on the floor
Yeah,
because we just,
I
yeah,
think it could have been a good
the
crux
plot armor is
for.
very strong here.
Yeah, and Kati-sama, hello, welcome to the stream. In anime universe, my dear, everything is possible. Yeah, sure, okay. But
That's where
I
I say
think
you're
it
right,
could
I'm
have
wrong.
it could have been a good crux for Atsushi to just go into and have control of his tiger sort of ability. Like him seeing and realizing that this character that he just met, sort of, that was in the crew, dies. Like that could have been, like you were saying, a cool wait to have him just be like, oh fuck, this is real. And if he wants to go into it, or if the story wanted to go into it, this is my fault. And now I gotta fix it because these people were nice to me. And that may come later, but that could have been a good use of her dying and just not being like, oh, no bullet holes. Okay, we're good. And actually, they all recovered and everything's fine. It doesn't have to make sense. No. Are we just picking hairs? Probably. I don't know, man. My bad for wanting
We're trying to
anime
be
to make sense.
realistic,
This
we're
is
trying
a
to think
realistic
realistically
world.
in a show that has a detective agency with people that have supernatural powers. So like,
This has to be the hill we die on. They have supernatural powers, but actually the bullets didn't. Anyways, uh what's his name? Tanizaki. Now this was cool. He has and uses his ability, the light snow ability, and it makes everything look kind of like the Matrix. And I was kind of cool with it. I was like, ooh, this is a cool ability. He just fucking disappears and then just starts choking her from behind. So, like, all of this, episode 1 and 2, has some action. Cool, whatever. More of it is just chill, hanging with the characters. This episode just gets real for some reason. I'm like, hold
yeah,
on. I'm here for it because he's just like, fucking kill you. And it's like, whoa,
this one's
bro,
mine.
this is intense.
I'm gonna kill you for doing that to Naomi, even though
Yeah.
she's gonna. That's another thing. When he's holding Naomi, it just pulls me out of it. When he's like, "A tourniquet, give me a tourniquet!" Like it's like she just got again.
No,
Just
bro.
I'm lingering on that way too much, but like she just got blasted in her back. Where are you gonna tourniquet? Are you gonna tourniquet every limb?
Does anyone
What are
have
you
a band-aid?
doing?
We need some band-aids here, please. Anybody.
Sorry for lingering on that more, but
Get a
just
first aid kit. Um anyways, Kutagawa shows up, and one thing that I noticed that he's been doing, he's been coughing a lot,
coughing
and they don't
every time he
explain it.
uses his powers. I feel like.
Yeah, and they don't say anything about it, and they don't say anything about it in episode 4. So I do want to ask now, as we see more Kutagawa, and he also does it in episode 4, I think, when they're just kind of talking. He's just kind of coughing with in his mouth or whatever. But like, what do you think that Rashomon or
Yeah,
that
he
demon sort of
he's
thing
already
is?
said that it's like it's insatiable and indiscriminate. So I feel like it's just eating away at his life force, or
Mm,
at his body literally. Because uh if it's eating everything, including the space and time between the bullets that are getting fired at him,
mhm,
I'm sure there's some negative drawbacks that happen from that, from having a power like that. We
mhm,
haven't really seen anybody else have um negative drawbacks from using their powers so far, with Dazai just being to make people stop using their powers, Kunikita with his book, Tanizaki with the snowfall, and Atsushi seems to have regenerative abilities because of his power, which is probably what's leading him to being priced so high on the black market, which is we also find out that he's like worth 3 billion yen if turned into the right people.
So, Kati-sama, thank you for the information. As a reason he is coughing, his author's character had a lung sickness, and often the characters related to their real life authors.
Oh, that connects back to what Gemini was saying.
Yeah, what Jim and I was saying, because we didn't do any research, we just watched the anime. We didn't know that these are actual people or based off of people or used in some way. So that is something that we can check out too. And also, I know we have people that know the anime. Please no spoilers. We only watched to episode 4. So thank you for not giving us any spoilers, but that is good information about them being connected to the author. I don't know. I'm just yapping and watching the anime. Rashomon is used, and it's like this demon. Tsushi um, gets his leg taken off. What is this about? Like, I
He
know you
told
said
them.
regenerative abilities for sure. That
Mhm.
gets, but like in the moment while I'm watching, like I just continue to be like, what did this anime just took a huge turn here? I know we were talking about a bomb last episode, but like, yo, this is insane. Like his leg just clean off. Hello Toga Himiko. Who's your fave? I think we both said me and Matt's.
Nikita
Yeah, Kunikita so far. We've only
so
watched
far.
episode 1 through 4. Who's
Up
y'all's
to
fave?
4.
Why do y'all keep asking us? I
Yeah,
want to know
seriously.
y'all. Y'all know these. Y'all know the show apparently. What? Who's your
No,
favorite?
you.
Who's your favorite character?
No, you.
He grew his leg back and into the tiger, and bullets cannot pierce his skin. He was cut in half, but not really. It was the light snow ability. And then we get the epic moment here where no longer human from Dazai says, "Stop, both of y'all quit your fighting," and the bad
Stop
guys retreat.
it.
Yeah. The bad guys retreat. We find out that the tiger has a bounty of 7 million, and also that Dazai was an ex Port Mafia member, which was a huge drop, which was insane. Gemini says, I like Dazai. Have you seen season 108 yet?
108.
Nope, not yet. It's
We're
next
getting there.
episode. Dazai was an ex Port member. That's huge.
That's a huge drop. And I like how it connects right back to the start of the episode, with everybody, with him being the one to be like, "Hey, you should guess what we did," and him knowing nobody's gonna like ever guess that. I think it's just, it doesn't have to be anything groundbreaking that connects the end of the episode back to the start, but it's so simple, and like that you would think it's it would happen more often with more shows. But it's something that's overlooked so often because everybody's thinking about that long-term stretch, the long con. But when you have a show like this, it again, having it be able to be enjoyed in these increments, just by episode, having them feel more contained, it I feel like just adds a lot to when you're watching it, when you're not just binging a show.
Yeah.
It helps carry the intrigue, and it helps make each episode feel satisfying, um, without
So
having to get so much payoff episode to episode.
so after the first 3 episodes, usually we say watch the first 3 episodes of an anime and you'll know if it's for you or not. after episode 3, if this is where you were trying to figure out, do I continue? Is this an anime for me? What would you say? And what are your thoughts?
I'd go on with this one because again, it definitely gives me similar vibes to certain shows that we've watched in the past that are only about 12 episodes long. That at episode 3, I totally think it's going to be one thing, but then by episode 12, I'm just like, oh, like
Yeah,
I don't
I
even know how we got here from where we started, and I'm all about this
mhm.
because that was one of the best things I've ever watched. Sometimes that happens and sometimes it stays safe, and by the end of it I'm just like, that's exactly what I expected to get out of it. And it checked all the boxes even if it didn't do anything phenomenal. And I want to, like, if I'm going to have to take a guess, I lean towards the second one, that this one's going to do a lot of playing it safe, and by the end of it, just checking all the boxes and not really doing anything super crazy. Because, like we said before already, I feel like it's more about the characters and
Yeah.
not about this world that it's building. And usually, in order to pull off those super high stakes like things, you need to have some sort of like groundbreaking world event that really sets some
I
sort of
don't
high priority.
I think it's gonna be super grounded, at least for
Yeah,
the first season,
exactly.
really. And then later on we can get crazy because I'm pretty sure there's like a ton of content out there. I even think
I
there's a different kind of Bungo Stray Dogs. There's like
gotcha.
a another spin-off. I don't even know what the spin-off would be.
No idea the volume that this that's under the belt of this series.
I just always
I
see it.
assume that the first season, and then that might be it. But if there's more, then okay, here we go.
I always see it at the manga shelves, and it's just huge. Katsuyama says, yes, the season one focus is great on the characters, making them lovable and not just a main character. Um, as far as me, I think I would, mainly because of episode 3, man. Episode
Yeah,
3 got so intense, and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know they were gonna go there." They set it up so it seemed super grounded, even though we had supernatural powers, but then the stakes got super real, even though nobody died. I was just like, "Yo, this is insane. This is a lot," and I'm like, "I wanna see more." So, definitely after episode 3, I'm, like, super about it. Kati-san says there are 5 seasons so far. Gemini says, I need to continue Bungo. Only watched up to 7. Got distracted by other shows. Last episode we watched, episode 4, The Tragedy of the Fatalist. What happens in episode 4?
Atsushi wakes up under the supervision of uh, Kunikita.
Kunikita?
Yeah, who informs him that Tanizaki and Naomi are okay. Kunikita appears to be incredibly wound up over the potential for the now worst case scenario that's on the table with the Port Mafia resurfacing. Atsushi bears witness to the Port Mafia's doings and attempts to coerce them to chase him away from the agency. A hit is put out on the agency anyways, with Atsushi rushing back to help, only to discover the rest of the detectives decisively handled their attackers. Kunikita being the one tasked to send around apology letters for the ruckus, the worst case scenario coming true. Atsushi realizing the context of Atsushi's stress from before,
So
of
this
Kunikita's
was
stress from before.
Yeah, this was a really cute and cool episode with some action for sure. But like this basically was Atsushi finding his place here in this group. And we get, the introduction of how sick and bad and evil or whatever the Port Mafia can be, the Black Lizards, as they call him. We meet uh, Black Lizard Commander Tachiwara Michizu, Jin, and then Hirotsu Ryuru, who is the older gentleman that is sort of the leader. I think I got, is that it? That's the picture. Anyways, here's them all together. Um, but it's it's setting up how bad these guys can be.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it's all about the difference of opinion about the worst case scenario here.
Yes.
How the worst case scenario for Atsushi is that the agency gets taken down, gets attacked, gets ambushed, whatever, because of him, because they're looking for him. So he tries to step away and do that classic, like, I want to save y'all. Y'all are good people. Y'all are
He's
fine. And he's doing the classic thing where like, I'm good. Just get away. Literally the
the Death
opposite
Eaters are
of what
after
you're
me. I
supposed to
can't
do.
be here at the burrow.
Yeah, and he even calls the lady, the girl that had tricked them in the past, and says, "I'm leaving. Don't do anything to them.
Catch me
I'm
if you
leaving."
can.
Pretty much, basically. That he's quitting the agency. I'm out. I'm out of this business. I'm getting too old for this shit, pretty much. But then something I did not expect, the agency just handles the black lizards. Like we don't even see it. We just see them burst open the place. And then I'm like, oh shit, what's happening? Somehow, with these guys' combined abilities, they just take them all down. And they're seeing and they're talking about how, oh my god, we how much money we're gonna have to pay to repair this place again. This happened so many times, and it's like just so the communication is really funny and really interesting that the worst case scenario is so different, and now we sort of know who the agency is, because up until now, we saw their powers, and we know Dazai can kind of just stop anybody really if he
Yeah.
gets close enough.
Yeah.
So there is some power to these silly boys, but we've only seen them be silly boys, and I didn't know. And I guess I mean, it's meant this way. It's for us to underestimate them, and I did not expect them to just be like, "Oh, brother, let's just get rid of them." Out the window, out the
They kept
window, out the
tossing them out
window.
the window.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I really did enjoy that. Them just handling them and being like, "This is the worst case scenario, man. I have to pay for all this cleanup,
To
and I
pay
have
for
to."
all this cleanup, and now I have to go send sorry apology letters and gift pass baskets to our neighbors. I have to be the one to do it. This is literally the worst case
What
scenario.
world are we in? This is so funny. Like, it's so wild. It's so bonkers, but I'm intrigued. I don't know. So yeah, it was basically all about him finding his place, Atsushi finding his place in the agency and figuring out that these guys can be his family if he allows. They keep hammering that home that his orphanage did not want him, and he would be better off dead and everything. And he's finding a place with this crew and having some brothers and sisters or whatever, or family. Um, w- with the introduction, and you see that the port mafia can basically be handled by the agency, I think, except for a chosen few. Um, where do we go from here? How does season one end? Because I can't see what an ending to season one would be. No spoilers for anybody in chat. This is predictions because we've only seen up to episode 4. How do we get to the end, or what can
Well,
be
now
the
it's like,
end?
so now it's, we know for sure that like their base of operations, so to speak, is impenetrable, because like even the guy said like they don't even have a sentry out front. What the heck?
They don't
And
need
it's
it.
just because yeah, they don't need a sentry out front. I'm sure if they like, I thought what I thought was gonna happen was that it was gonna when Atsushi shows up, I thought the president was going to be there, and he
Sure.
was going to have activated some ability that
Yeah.
allowed him to just completely put the situation to rest, but he didn't even need to get involved. So then I'm in a point where it's like, yeah, okay, they can just handle everything. So it's just it's in my eyes just setting up, this is more going to be about Atsushi's journey and not about the detective agency's journey. They're in their end game.
Hmm.
They're in their end game. They completely are fine, but now like Kunikita is saying, like, now what can you do? What can you bring to the table? And I think that's really where the series probably going to focus on with its plot. At the same time, introducing new characters from the agency and from the Port Mafia to challenge. We're getting into the allies and enemies part of our
Sure.
hero's journey, I feel like, and
And
that's where we're going to go from here.
I do like all the enemies and, agency members that I've seen. They all seem pretty cool. I would have liked to maybe seen the agency do some damage there, but them just handling it off screen, I'm cool with that. Grandpa from YouTube chat, hello, welcome. Are you my grandpa, or are you the grandpa from is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? Just letting you know, the first 4
There
episodes
he is, officer.
are considered the worst in the show. I promise. It only gets better. Yeah, I mean, we're contractually obligated to continue at least to episode at 12 or 13 or whatever the first season is. So we're going to continue watching the show. Um, and if these are the worst ones, like you said, I'm going to hold you to it. And if episode 5 is worse, I am.
We're gonna have some beef here next
We're going to
week. That's
have
all.
some
Like, where's the
words.
beef?
If I end up hating 5 through 8 or whatever, did we ever find out how many episodes are in season 1?
I think there was only 12 in season
12?
1.
Can you check that while I
Yes.
say what I'm gonna do? So I think my prediction for season 1, I think it is, like I said earlier, gonna be super grounded.
12.
12 episodes. Okay, cool. Um, Super grounded, and I do one question that I want answered. They might not answer it in season 1. Um, why does he want the tiger's powers? It does seem like it's pretty powerful, but is this something more? And why is it now? Did Asushi just get this power recently? Like out of nowhere, it just came to him? Or has this been a thing that he was born with? I want to know more about the powers. I'm intrigued by it. Is Dopo Poet just a grapple gun? I need to know. Both. 12 episodes. L said, also before it ends, please pick new animes to add to. I gave biddies in match chat.
Oh yeah,
Oh, did you see that?
yeah. I don't know why it didn't show up on our end. Oh, maybe I don't think those messages show up here. Just
No.
messages without them. Yeah. L 1000 biddies from L.
1,000? Holy
Pick new
cow.
anime. You need to pick the animes.
Please pick
You
new
you gave
animes
us
to
you
add
gave us
to.
the money. That means you get
You
to
give
pick
us
them.
animes to pick. Thank you so much for the 1,000 bits. Appreciate it.
Answered later.
Answer
Oh, we
later.
actually get questions answered.
Oh my
Oh.
god. Well, actually, it's in season 5, episode 6, where they.
You actually have to watch the non-canonical movie tie-in.
Yeah, you
It's
gotta.
2.5 hours
You have
long.
to read the Bungo Stray Dogs manhwa book too, actually, and they tell you. Love you guys. Hee hee. Great work on the podcast. Thank you so much, El. We appreciate it. Thank you for the bits. Thank you. So that is my thoughts about where season 1's gonna go. I don't know. I'm down to continue. I'm down to keep going, trying to figure out what's going on. Watch episode 5 through 8, Bungo Stray Dogs season 1 by next Thursday. So we're going to talk about 5 through 8 Bungo Stray Dogs. You can talk to us about it in the Discord or find us whatever. But yeah, we watch these episodes. If you're new, we watch these shows throughout a couple episodes. We watch a couple at a time, give you some time to watch them as well, and then come back, give us your thoughts as well. And then we rank the anime. I didn't even talk about this in the beginning. We rank the anime. Where will Bungo Stray Dogs get put on this anime tier list? We've done so many anime here already in season 2. Some really good ones, some okay ones, and some bad ones. But sorry, on Thanksgiving. No,
A little bit of
actually,
everything.
my bad. We're not doing a podcast next
No
week because I'm
podcast
going out of
next
town.
week. Yes.
Sorry. In 2 Thursdays from now, hit that subscribe button or follow wherever you're watching this. In 2 weeks, Thanksgiving in America over here. Watch episode 5 through 8, and we'll talk about it. So once a week, 4 episodes. Yeah, it gives you enough time to watch the show and live your life. And then we come back and talk about it. So that's basically what we do. We do 4 episodes at a time, usually watch the first season of a show, and then we pick a brand new anime. So all of these are suggested by you, kind of what Elle did a little bit ago. She gave bits to Matt, and she gets some animes to put into the chest, and we pick them out at random, and then we watch whatever we pull. So yeah, $5 super chat on YouTube or 500 bits on Twitch gets you an anime in the chest. But Matt, when you're not bongoing some stray dogs, where can they find you on the internet?
You can follow me on my Instagram, on Threads at it's Matt Galley, or on YouTube just at Matt_Galley. Jules, when we're not here trying to decipher who is the Bungo Stray Dog, where can the people find you?
You can find me on the internet at Jules the Human, at JULES the Human on all social media, Instagram. I've been on Threads lately. Let me know if you came from the podcast, but if you follow me on Threads, I'll hit you with a follow back. Threads has been super fun, but usually stream this show on my YouTube channel. There's also an Anime Hour Pod YouTube channel just for the VODs. If you want to go, I edit them a little bit and then do that. You can also check this podcast out on Spotify. So if this is your first time watching, we have a ton of podcasts. You can watch them on Spotify while you're going to the gym, in the car, wherever. We have a ton of anime episodes that are there to watch. So you can watch them on Spotify, my YouTube channel, on Matt's streaming stuff, and on the Anime Hour Pod. It's in the description of this YouTube videos. Take care, our boy. Hello, thank you for stopping by, everybody. But the anime has been houred. Watch again next week. No episode because it is Thanksgiving in America. And then watch episode 5 through 8 of Bungo Stray Dogs. It's kind of irritating, Jules. You look one and more like my old friend from university. Do I know you?
Who?
Do I know you? I went to university.
Mod check.
All right. So yeah, that's the end. See you in 2 weeks, and we'll talk to you later. Watch episode 5 through 8.
Bye.
Bye.